Hello, everyone. Welcome to Friday's Snap Take. Yesterday, we had OTA, but that's not the big news. The big news is still High Evolutionary. We're going to be talking about the best performing High Evolutionary decks by the numbers so far. It's only been a day. People have been playing a lot. Talk about the best playing decks so far. My name is Glazer. I'm a host of the Snap Judgments podcast, and I release one of these videos every day. I hope you subscribe. I hope you enjoy the videos. If you do, make sure you join our giveaway. You have to subscribe. You have to follow, like, and sub the tweet that's going to be found right in the description to this video. Reply to that tweet with a content creator you'd like to see join our podcast. And then you will be entered to win one of 5 season passes along with a giant grand prize. The grand prize is the season pass along with every single Token Tuesday for the month of June. Don't forget, hope you check it out. Okay. This is lame. I'm aware this is lame. I didn't know this was going to happen. I absolutely promise you. So the highest win rate High Evolutionary deck so far is the one that I've been talking up, the one Safety made based on my original take that's trying to wave an Abomination and then Doom or Hulk. Sorry, it is. My version runs Zabu. I've been playing around with Misty versus Sunspot, not necessarily both, and I run Zabu instead. That deck has been working great for some people. Awesome content creator named J-Hugs over at J-Hugs Plays had a 75 win rate with my version with Zabu. That version does not have as many games played. Safety is a phenomenal player and a really good friend. He's on the Snap Judgments podcast that actually released yesterday. Make sure you check that episode out. He plays both Sunspot and Misty, where I play Zabu over one or the other. Again, I've been changing which. I usually stick with Misty at this point. I think the starting 2 makes her a little better than Sunspot in this deck. But this is the highest win rate deck for High Evolutionary so far. I'm aware that's a little lame. We've been talking about this deck 3 of the 5 days this week. I'm going to move on. I promise you I have more today. But this deck is absolutely incredible. And I'm going to show you the single best reason why as we go through our other decks for today. So we're going to go over 2 more High Evolutionary decks. And then we're going to go over the highest win rate non-High Evolutionary deck since High Evolutionary's release. What I do for all my stats on Untapped is I filter from rank 70 to rank 99, and I filter for at least 200 games. This game has well over 400. This deck has well over 400 games, so it's a reliable sample, or reliable for the meta so far. There are a lot of mirrors in the meta so far, so keep that in mind. Okay. This is the highest cube rate High Evolutionary deck. It is its win rate is a little lower, not quite as high as the previous deck, but this, I believe, is Revis's build. Revis is absolutely phenomenal. If it's not Revis's build, I'm so sorry, whoever's it is, but I know Revis was playing something very similar to that. Fundamentally, Nebula, Jeff, and Cyclops and Thing all help you win a storm lane. They're all really, really good in a storm lane, while Spider-Man and Professor X should be able to help you lock down another lane, and the Hulk is then absolutely phenomenal at winning that last lane. If you're really lucky, and this doesn't happen a lot with this deck, but it does happen, you can get an Abomination with usually a Spider-Man, not Professor X, out on turn 5, at which point, GG. That's a lot of cubes if you can bait them into snapping. The deck is really strong. I'll be completely honest with you. I like the previous non-evolutionary versions of this deck a little better. The Guardian Z versions that people like Savage Yeti YouTube hit Infinite with, Savage Yeti _YT, hey Yeti, hit Infinite with, that Dara made. I think that version is a little consistent. It plays a little smoother in my experience, but hey, the winning cube rate on this, well, the win rate's high and the cube rate's through the roof. So what do I know? Okay. SnapFan did not have any decks with enough games from 80 to 100 for High Evolutionary for me to be able to get accurate data. I don't know who made this deck, and I'm sorry about that, but this is an example of what most people, this is one of the most commonly played types of decks, and it's got a win rate through the roof. Where that win rate happens, I can't actually tell you. I could not find anything in an individual band that had the play rate, the sample size of play rate, to be really useful for our experiment. So this is just a standard High Evolutionary deck. Cool. This has a huge win rate. It is fundamentally playing a bunch of early game with negating cards and then saying toward the end of the game, I'm going to go big. It's got a location and chances for protection. I call this kind of deck in my head, I've been calling it the full Monty, where it just runs kind of all the cards and then the really obvious cards that go with them. Those really obvious cards being Sunspot and Misty are very similar. Enchantress and Luke need to go in kind of every version of High Evolutionary at this point, in my opinion, because of how much of the meta it is. And Scorpion or Hazmat is that last spot. But it is running, other than that, just all the evolutionary cards. This is the full Monty to me. It is apparently performing really well, which speaks well to the power of High Evolutionary, but it does matter. It is relevant that we don't know what rank this has had this success at. All right. Not going to leave you with just High Evolutionary stuff for the weekend. There is a counter deck. This is the deck that has been doing well since High Evolutionary came out. You might recognize it. This is the bounce deck that I want to say Dexter, excuse me if it's not, created on like day one of the meta shift, of the change, where Kitty came back and the patch was released. Deck is extremely strong. It uses America for consistency. It wants to bounce Kitty, ideally on Angela or with Bishop out or both. It wants Kitty to be free with Beast, and it wants to bring cards back to hand regularly, putting Kitty to this automatically. But beyond that, it likes to do these things in order to power up Collector. You can also, at that point, play a bunch of cards last turn without priority, so you can't be Killmongered, and drop a Hit Monkey who gets power for all that extra goodness. Really, really strong deck. America adds consistency. Mysterio counts as 3 plays for both Bishop and Hitmonkey. It's super duper strong. The one change, I believe it was our good friend Shade, excuse me. I know how to speak once in a while. Shade, who made it, and she replaced America with Moon Girl. I really, really appreciated that version. I think it's really strong. I liked it a lot. I also think she's a genius. She's taking a break from the game for now. And just, if you enjoy Marvel Snap and you've enjoyed her decks, reach out over on Twitter and let her know you appreciate her and you're a phenomenal human being that is genuinely going to be missed and made my favorite version of this deck. Again, not played as often, but just as successful. I believe it's the same deck. There might be one other difference, but it replaces America with Moon Girl. Fan-freaking-tastic deck. This deck is the counter to High Evolutionary. Fundamentally, Evolutionary cannot keep up with the power output that this deck drops all over the board, which is, again, the single biggest reason why the version that I and then Safety modified, Safety made based on the Wave trick, is the best version of the deck. All right, that's it for the weekend. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. See y'all Monday for another Snap Take.